Welcome to Long Story Short, the podcast where we discuss the movies that I love.
And I put up with.
My name is Mike.
And I'm Jordan.
And this week we are discussing Jordan Peele's couple movies, Get Out and Us.
By couple movies, he doesn't mean couple movies. Is that why you keep making me watch his damn movies? You think they're couple movies?
Yeah, he's got two. Two people need to watch them for them to be watched. That's how it works. It's math.
Mike loves Jordan Peele.
I love Jordan Peele.
And all his couple movies.
Yes. All right. Jumping into our first film, Get Out. Written and directed by Jordan Peele, starring Daniel Kaluuya. I'm fucking up that last name. I'm very, very sorry.
I don't think he'd be mad at that. You were enthusiastic about that.
Allison Williams, Kathleen Keener, Bradley Whitford, Lakeith Stanfield, and Lil Rel Howery. And this movie was fucking great. It won an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay, which, I mean...
It's fucking original if it was something.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite films I've seen in a long, long time. You and I have watched it multiple times at this point because you keep demanding that we rewatch it, right?
Yeah, this is the movie I put up with.
All right, so do you have any fun facts for us? Are they fast facts or are they fun facts for this film?
The first one's fun. Jordan Peele was a puppeteer. That has nothing to do with this movie, but...
That is fun.
That's fun.
The other one you gotta save for the end, right? Which is a little bit less fun.
Yes, the original ending was much darker. That's all I'll say. The third fun fact is one of the inspirations for Get Out was the 2008 Democratic primaries, because Jordan Peele was thinking about a post-Obama era.
Well, we found out what that looks like.
Yes.
So let's jump into Get Out. We start off, we're not going to go scene by scene. We're going to be conversational.
Yes.
But we have to also tell you guys the story, which is going to involve lots of spoilers.
Well, it started out with Lakeith. We like him.
He
was in another weird-ass fucking political movie.
Yeah, Sorry to Bother You was one of my favorite films that I made you watch, and I did not see the ending coming.
No one saw the ending coming. I wish I didn't see the ending now.
Yeah, the image doesn't get out of your head.
No.
I think it's still on Hulu if you want to give it a shot. It's very good.
Yes.
I really liked it. I like Lakeith Stanfield and everything that I've seen him in.
Gets fucking abducted in the beginning of this film, and that starts off. Get out.
He's in this suburban hell, and I don't know about you, honey, but I used to work for a certain carpet cleaning company, and I don't mean to brag, and we would get sent to the suburbs constantly because those places are typically rented out by families that are in there and out. Either way, the suburbs fucking suck. And that's kind of a little bit of a cliffhanger where we're not too sure what happened to Lakeith's character. He's just taken away in a car by somebody in this weird, like, medieval mask. So this is where we're introduced to Chris and Rose. Chris, of course, is Daniel Kaluuya, and Rose is Allison Williams. And they are an interracial couple. The only reason I bring that up is because it is important to the story. The whole dynamic of race, of course, is a giant part of this movie. We're not going to jump hugely into it. We're going to try to take it a little bit more on base level because...
We should have listened to Jordan Peele to begin with, and we're very sorry. So... Chris and Allison are on their way to meet.
Correctly.
Yes, we did. But I mean, like, us just partaking in society nowadays in America and the structural systemic racism that exists in our culture. Like, fuck all of us. We suck. We need to change, and we're working on it. Okay, Chris and his girlfriend, Rose.
Right, they're going up to visit... Rose's parents for the first time, Missy and Dean Armitage. And of course, one of the weighing questions on Chris's mind is whether or not Rose has explained to her parents that he is African American, and Rose tries to pass it off like it's no big deal, telling him that her parents are super duper chill and they're down with all that.
He just wants to be accepted, like any boyfriend that's gonna meet his girlfriend's parents. He really likes Rose. And her parents, like, right as they meet him, just hit him with the fact that they're gonna have a bunch of old white people over in this yearly annual family friend rich person gathering.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be.
Well, Rose's family is old money.
Old creepy money.
All
Old money, meaning you don't know where that money came from.
But you kind of do.
Yeah. It's like how Andy in The Office.
Slavery.
Yeah, found out that his
either
I
way,
thought that was a good reference. You're not going to let me use that in this take?
it is, but
Like, it describes exactly what we're talking about without us having to say it.
exactly.
And it was an entertaining reference if you would have let me get it out there.
If you want to learn about the history of racism in America, watch The Office. That wasn't your point?
No.
Well.
Moving on. These Rose's family is having a fancy people gathering, and during this gathering,
Before we get to that, can we talk about how creepy her brother is?
yeah, he's
And-
like weird, like he should be like weird redneck creepy,
He's
but they're
trying
like
to be this alpha male.
yeah.
And
He's like sort of Miley Cyrus.
because he has a weird mullet.
Like he cuts his hair to look worse than he actually would if he just would leave his fucking hair alone.
Same reason he has the mustache.
Yeah, don't.
So, but we need to talk about like
Vibes.
three different things before we jump into the family gathering. The brother being the alpha male and trying to be creepy and weird.
The father.
The dad being like that awkward way white people can be anti-racist, but still seem racist. I only say that because I'm white and I know what that looks like. My mom used to say some very cringeworthy things in the attempts of seeming. She wasn't intentionally ever racist. Let's just put it that way. My parents are not racist people, but they're those people from small town
You have
USA
beautiful
that just
skin. Look
Yeah.
at your eyes. They're just shaped so nice.
My mom has never said that to you. Calm down, woman. Beautiful skin is one of the things that she said multiple times to multiple people. And all I'm thinking is like, you sound like maybe Hitler. I'm not saying like you want to kill them, but like maybe you want to like
Steal their bodies and wear
no,
them.
their skin specifically.
Just,
Hitler made skin stuff, I think.
Ew.
That could be wrong, but
Okay.
you don't come to this podcast for history and fuck Hitler.
You should have just let me talk about the party, but here we are.
Hang on. We're getting way too rabbit traily. So I don't know what my hand's doing.
Her brother's
here.
an asshole.
You guys are missing out if you're not watching the podcast. My hand does some interesting things similar to Evil Dead. So or Idle Hands. Mom is a psychiatrist. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. And that is very, very important to this whole entire movie. And Chris smokes. That's all I'm going to
And
throw
her
in there
dad's
real
a
quick.
neurosurgeon. They do say that.
Yes, and brother wants to be just like dad. All
But-
these things are important because it's all foreshadowing. Honestly, like this movie's won an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay, and it 100% deserves it. Jordan Peele holds our hand quite a bit in this film, though, I think, because even though, like, when I watch a movie, I'm in it. I'm just 100% in it. I don't look for the spoilers until like the next time I watch it. You saw most of this shit coming.
I was just like, why is this movie so racist? I didn't understand.
Well,
Again,
it's-
I'm sorry, Jordan Peele. I'm sorry, it wasn't 2020 yet. I didn't quite understand. And yeah, it confused me.
Well, you saw the twist coming.
Because
this-
all these fucking white folk are acting sus as fuck. Like, why
Yeah.
are they being so sus?
Well,
why
no,
do
no,
they
wait,
have...
wait. You're jumping into the party without discussing what they're saying at the party. Really quickly discuss what. Why are they sus as fuck? Show your
At the
work.
beginning, they have a gardener groundskeeper who is of color, and they have a maid
She's a maid.
who is also of color, and they are clearly rich white people, and they call themselves out on it immediately, saying
Saying they
that
were caretakers for the parents that after the parents died, they didn't want to fire.
they didn't want to get rid of them. They wanted to keep them around.
Which is crazy because
Which
if
is
you
foreshadowing.
think, well, and if you think about it, if one of them was a caretaker, at least one of them had to be an RN, and now they're either a gardener or a fucking maid.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
This is sus.
Sus as fuck.
Number one. Number two, we are at the party, and all of these people, because they keep meeting old couples, like old men who look like they have one foot in the grave already, and their wives, and they keep asking them weird questions, like not the normal, like, how are you? What do you do? It's like, what do you think about African Americans today in society? Or
They're
what?
very weird questions. They're
And
not,
that one wife goes and just starts rubbing his arms and
she
like
wants
feeling
to
him
fuck
up,
him.
and like
she wants to fuck him
these
right
aren't
there.
normal interactions, and they're all very, very racially geared interactions. And so yeah, I was like, oh, these people want to wear their skin.
So Chris finally kind of bails on the party to go take pictures because he's a photographer, and that's where we meet Jim Hudson, aka Stephen Root, who we all of course know as Milton in Office Space.
Or Stapler Guy, you don't really know.
Yeah, if you're not as familiar with that film. And he's the only one at the party that doesn't seem to be like a total creepazoid. He just talks to Chris about his work because he's a what are they called?
I thought he was a photographer too, and that's
He
why
was a
he
photographer
admired
until
his.
he was a photographer until he went blind, and then he became not a retailer.
I believe
he
you.
He sells art. He sells art,
Oh,
and
he's
he
clearly rich as fuck. That's the only thing that matters right now, is he is blind and he's
All right,
admiring Chris's artistic eye and his photography skills. And
Yeah,
this is foreshadowing.
Like I said, Jordan Peele doesn't just hold her fucking hand. The second time you watch this film, you're just like, oh shit, I was dumb.
Yeah. Chris, though, he keeps calling his buddy. Who's his buddy?
Little Rel.
And
Oh, Rod. Rod's his name, but he's played by Little Rel, who's fucking hilarious. He's one of my favorite parts of this entire movie.
Rod and I knew what was happening the whole time. We're like, you have to get out of there. These people are being creepy, and
So wait, honey,
and so
are you
he's
really
called.
claiming to be super clever that you thought the character should get out? What's this movie called?
Get out.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder, like I said, Jordan Peele held our hands. I just don't pay attention.
So Rod has been an alarmist, and Chris is now spooked,
He's
and
a
so
TSA agent who's pretty sure they're going to stop the next 9/11.
him and Rose go off on a walk, and while they're on the walk, we
Wait,
see
Chris and Rose.
Yes, that's what I said.
We were talking about Little Rel.
I know. He spooked him on the phone, so Chris now is spooked. He's going on a walk with Rose. Rose is his girlfriend. She's just trying to do, the nice girlfriend thing and calm down your irrational.
Well, and we forgot to discuss the fact that Chris was hypnotized by Missy to stop smoking.
That was important.
But when he tells Little Rel about it, he brings up the fact that white people love to turn people into sex slaves. I believe the direct quote was talking about Dahmer, and he says, "Gonna go back to this guy's place, jiggle little balls." They didn't get to jiggle shit because they heads were off their bodies. They still suck the dick, just without the heads. Okay, now you got to edit that out because it would have been fine until you said that.
It just, the whole thing sounded out of context. I think we should go back to his phone call. So pause it.
Yeah, well, you jumped into a walk talking about Little Rel.
Because I thought we were done. Because,
You
like,
gotta make smoother transition.
this is still going. That's fine. Yay! Here we go!
What am I supposed to talk about?
Rod, or Chris is telling Rod about the night before on the phone.
Why am I so tinny?
I don't know, move it somewhere.
No, that's not what I wanted. So Chris is telling Rod about what happened the night before when Missy hypnotized him in an effort to get him to quit smoking, which of course Rod tells him is sus and reminds him about Dahmer. I'm not going to jump into his whole quote. But
Mike's favorite fucking line in this whole movie. He had to rewind it like 3 times, so you guys get to hear it.
Yeah, it's great. I'm not going to say it. I'm not
Why?
going to. He's talking about Dahmer and how he would bring dudes back to his house and they'd want to jiggle his balls.
And they wouldn't even get to jiggle his balls because...
The heads were off their bodies.
So they still got to...
Suck the dick just without their heads. It was weird. That's kind of the quote. I'm just...
Jordan Peele dropping some history inside his movies. Get out. Okay. Anyway, Rod is saying that like these white folk might try to kill you and do things to your bodies, perhaps make you a sex slave. So, yeah, get out.
Get out, bro.
Get out. So, Rod has done his job. He has adequately spooked Chris. And Chris wants to get the fuck out of there. And Rose tries to like de-escalate the situation and take him on a nice walk.
But during this walk,
it's
much darker.
These old crazy white folk are
bidding on him,
silently auctioning, but not a silent auction, just a silent auction. Like this guy, what's his name, the dad, Dean, is holding up his fingers. I assume the fingers are
tens
millions,
of thousands or millions,
tens of thousands, like rich people.
Lots of money.
However
More than
much,
$1.
I don't know how much bodies go on the black market. We're not that educated in this.
Are you allowed to call it the black market?
Yeah, in that context. But this isn't.
It was a joke.
I didn't know what to say. This is unprecedented times.
Anyways, focus.
Rose is now
Totally complicit. She is complicit as shit. She is evil. You can't trust
we
these
still don't
white
know that though.
bitches.
We still don't know that Rose is complicit. She's
you
listening
can't trust
to
white women.
Chris. She loves Chris, supposedly. Chris loves her. Rose is going to get Chris out of there. So they go back to the house. She's like, yeah, we're going to make an excuse so we get to leave. We're going to blow this popsicle stand. I can't find my keys. I can't find them, Chris. And Chris is like, gotta find the fucking keys.
Rose, find the fucking keys.
And all this time, the family, they're gathering around the door. You could see her brother
is
wielding a
drunk and
bat or something.
A bat. How very not white of you. It's a lacrosse stick.
Oh shit. Yes, rich white people. And
never
her
played
dad
lacrosse,
is doing
that being
something
said.
creepy because, we all know he's creepy as fuck.
Her dad is all looking like melancholy over in the
By the fire.
over by the fireplace, like just looking like Luna did this morning. You guys don't get that joke because you haven't met our dog, but our dog is very dramatic.
And so then
Chris basically takes on the family. And
Rose is like, you're looking for these keys? I can't let you have them, Chris.
And Missy uses her teacup of doom to knock his ass out because of
When she
the
had
previous
hypnotized him,
hypnotization.
that was what they used as the little,
It's the initial trigger.
it's the teacup and the spoon and the stirring. So Chris goes to the sunken place. He basically...
Oh shit, wait. I want to rewind really quickly. How Chris has found out at this point how evil Rose is because he finds her box full of pictures. And I want to actually talk to you about this real quickly before we jump into the finale of this film. How fucked up is it that this family just kind of whores out Rose
I was
to
thinking...
seduce, including the maid.
Yeah.
She seduced Georgina as well.
Well, bisexual, that's fine. That's
No,
fine.
I'm not judging that. I just
See,
think
that's kind of
there's
like the point, too. They don't care if these are male or female. They want their...
bodies.
Their color attributes.
It's
their,
an invasion. No, they want their
physical attributes.
Also the healthy bodies.
Because they keep saying that they're like more physically like, how far can you jump? Or I don't know. They ask something like that.
They ask about his golf
Athletic.
game.
Yes, because that guy was a golfer.
Every single person there wants
It's more than just the color.
Really?
It's about...
wants the body for a different reason. That old fat white guy wants it because it's popular and he wants to be popular. The one guy wants it because he wants to be able to go back to his glory days of sports. The other guy wants it because he wants to be able to fuck his wife again. They all want it for different reasons, including fucking Milton, who wants it for his eyes because he wants to be able to go back to the time of his glory days of being able to be a photographer. They discuss this. It's all different reasons for wanting it. And this is when he gets knocked out. He wakes up tied to that chair where he starts talking with with Jim again. And Jim kind of explains it to him and tells him that's actually part of the process as well, where he has to understand why it's happening. And he says, I want your eyes. I want to be able to take pictures again. Like it's pretty simple. This movie is a smart movie with the most simple plot of all time.
Before you snapped at me to stop interrupting
snap.
I wanted to talk about how you were saying that it's fucked up that they use Rose, but it's more fucked up because we know at this point in time where Chris is watching the video while he's tied to the chair that it's at Rose's grandfather who's started this. They had
Right.
plans for those children even while they were little kids in the little photo of the family we keep seeing. That's fucked up. So it's
Yeah.
basically a family business created by the grandfather, and it's
Who,
gone
of
on
course, we find
3
out
generations.
is inhabiting the gardener's body, and Grandma's in Georgina's body.
Yes.
They're the first successful kind of brain swap.
So all the little clues that they're saying that, oh, we wanted them to stay with us and stuff became way more creepy now.
Yeah. So
Chris breaks the fuck out of there.
well, yeah, and in the meantime, they prep Jim Hudson, Stephen
Off his skull cap.
Yeah, and take out his brain, which essentially kills him. Which, if they would have been able to get Chris's brain in there, of course, would have...
I don't think they got that far. They just took the cap off, which is kind of the gross part. That they could have lived, except then the Dean got murdered, so there's no way to put that shit back on.
Yeah, well, and it's because first he knocks out Jeremy, and then he goes down there and he kills the fuck out of Dean with the deer.
Basically, Chris goes on a rampage. Oh, we'd never talked about the deer.
He kills the shit out of Missy too. We'll go back to that in when we discuss at the end.
Okay.
Because we didn't discuss the physics and how deer work in the real world.
So Chris is...
He's on a killing rampage.
All these motherfuckers are actively trying to kill him. Self-defense. He's...
And as he's escaping in the car, he runs over... oh, shit. Why? Georgina. God damn, I can never remember her name. He runs over Georgina and he thinks about leaving her behind, which he fucking should.
But then he has like...
He remembers his mom, who we didn't discuss, but that he left behind when she... Or he didn't leave behind, but he just didn't do anything.
She died when he was a child, and now fucking Missy's messed with her brain, his brain, and so there we are.
Yeah, he goes and picks up Georgina and she like freaks out on him, blah, 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 blah. They crash into a tree. She dies. And then Grandpa in the gardener's body attacks him. And he's able to... We found out earlier with Lakeith Stanfield's character that if they're given a flash of a camera, it kind of gives them a moment of going back to who they are.
We've seen people get hypnotized at the fair. It's always like a trigger and a anti-trigger, whatever real words those are.
So he flashes the gardener. That sounds weird. But he flashes the gardener.
Oh, I wish he would flash the gardener.
And he, the gardener then grabs the rifle from the daughter, convincing her, of course, that he's the grandpa, and kills her, and then kills himself. It's really intense. Fucking Walter's death scene was intense as shit.
The point is that we kind of skipped over is that they're still in these bodies, but the most of the brain has been removed, or basically they can't do anything about it. They're just stuck there, and that's what makes this a horror movie, because this really isn't... I mean, arguably, is this a horror movie or isn't a horror movie? It's fucking scary to think that these, like, rich white people, which is kind of beside the point... Basically, you're stuck. It's like that Black Mirror episode with the girl stuck in the bear.
Right, yeah.
These people are still in their bodies somewhere, but at the same time, they've been taken over by these old rich white people. And
yeah, they're stuck in the sunken place. And
that's why they're always, like, tearing up and stuff.
They still exist. They just don't exist anymore.
And that's scary as fuck.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Rod pulls up at the last moment because Rod and Rose kind of had a final showdown in the middle of the road, and Rose sees that it's like a police car, and she thinks her white ass is saved.
But it's Rod. It's a TSA agent. They escape, and everything ends happily ever after, which leads us to your last fact.
Fucking Jordan Peele was just going to end the movie at Chris getting arrested. That white bitch would have had her way. She would have been saved. Chris would have gotten arrested, and we all know what happens with police and
right. The original ending had Chris serving life in prison and Rod visiting him.
He didn't think that was fair to the audience, and so they made it have a happier ending, and I'm happy about that.
All right, so let's get out. One thing I wanted to bring up, since we wrapped that shit up, is these white people are basically the monster from Jeepers Creepers, right?
Taking those peepers.
Taking the parts that they need to be successful.
Interesting.
Anyways.
The other thing was deer physics. We
Right.
live in an area where deer is plentiful. If you haven't hit a deer and you live out here, you clearly don't really live out here. We've all hit deer with our cars.
The fun phrase around here is you're either a person that has hit a deer or you're going to. Super funny, isn't
If
it?
you hit a deer, that's just one less one. I was trying to remember what the dad said. He said if you hit a deer.
Oh yeah, the dad's comments on deer are very much indicative of a lot of people's
One down, a bunch to go, or something like that.
a lot of people's opinion on
Well, we're trying to.
immigrants and shit like that. Like Jordan Peele is sprinkled in a lot of different shit.
Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That makes sense to the. Okay. What we're saying though is while Rose and Chris were driving up to meet the parents, they accidentally hit a deer. This deer goes fucking flying through the air, like across the screen.
It's hilarious.
And I don't know why, but later on, when Chris is tied to the chair because they are trying to steal his body and he's been hypnotized and shit, the deer head is mounted on the wall.
And he kills Dean with it.
Oh, yes.
All right, so, all right, now let's jump into reviews. Rotten Tomatoes, the critics gave it a 98%, whereas the audience gave it an 86%. And IMDb, the audience gave it a 7.7. Honey, what do you give it?
Closer to IMDb. Like, it was good, but it's not like 100%.
I give it a 95%. That's my honest opinion. I think this is a damn near perfect movie. I loved it.
It's really high for a horror movie.
Yeah. So what do you give it?
I said.
You said closer to IMDb.
Okay,
so
now
is that
it's a 70. Now it's a 70.
You don't get to drop Jordan Peele's grade because of me.
I would tell Jordan Peele that to his face.
No, you wouldn't. This film is just another example of liberal political agenda. What happened to good old-fashioned horror films? Jordan Peele is a miserable failure in everything he does, yet he's so full of himself. 1 out of 10 criminology man.
That person's racist.
Yeah, he just doesn't like it because either he doesn't get it or he's racist. Yeah. And also Jordan Peele's a miserable failure. Key and Peele is probably the next best sketch show, like right below
Chappelle Show.
Yeah. So fuck off, criminology man. Eat 3 dicks. And Tribilbo says, what a truly sad waste of time. Social commentary? Not even close. Social preaching to a progressive delusional audience? Apparently there is a market for such drivel based on the sanctimonious preaching and many of the pontificating tens posted here. Gave it every chance, but they kept digging a political hole deeper and deeper, leaving entertainment to die a painful death here. Peele has done so much better. This, truly the worst of his message movies, deserves no further mention ever. 1 out of 10.
Just because you use big words doesn't mean you're not racist.
At least he applauded Jordan Peele, though. Like, at least he didn't say Jordan Peele was a piece of shit. Because, I mean, clearly that's just based on...
He didn't like the deeper meaning, though, because he couldn't handle the political side.
And see, in my opinion, what I liked was Jordan Peele delivered to us a movie with a deep meaning that if you decide to take it at surface level, you can also enjoy it just a base horror movie.
I guess so.
Like, it doesn't have to have a political agenda. Clearly, that's what he intended it to. And if you're going to enjoy films, you should look for that deeper meaning because it's important. And what he had to say was powerful. But if you want to just watch a horror movie, don't fucking look deeper into it. Like, you getting pissed off at this movie is your own fucking fault. Sorry for banging the mic. But that's what I think. Like, if you want to get pissed off at a movie, then fuck off.
Why are you yelling at these 1-star reviewers?
Because they're fucking dumb.
Yes,
It's so annoying.
They're not worth the time.
People who do this with movies are annoying. Okay?
You read them.
It's the same people that bullshit about, like, comedy movies. Well, this movie was dumb. Well, no fucking shit.
Well, clearly they don't have a pot to piss in because the movie still has a 90 whatever.
And it's got a fucking Oscar and you don't, bitch. Not
Okay.
You're not the bitch. The bitch is the people giving it a 1 out of 10.
Yes,
You're never a bitch.
We all know who you're yelling at. These 1-star reviewers got way too worked up about that.
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
10 out of 10s.
which is the correct score. A good psychological movie, Haid 39414 says, okay, comma, firstly, comma, for everyone that says this movie is racist, is not. Just shows the struggles of black people in a world of white people. There are documentaries on this. Secondly, the plot twists in this are fucking amazing, and only to the end one of them becomes predictable if you're not that idiot. To conclude everything I wrote, I must say, for everyone interested in psychology or in the human mind, go watch this, please. That's an interesting review, but 10 out of 10. Okay. Oasin says, oh yes, that's what I'm talking about. Get Out is outstanding. By now you've heard this premise. A young black photographer decides to spend a weekend with his white lover's family for the first time. What he encounters is to be expected and also unexpected beyond the beyond. Jordan Peele really gets the horror film and all its comedic potential, and that's all I'm going to say. You've got to watch this one.
Well, that was an exciting review.
Well, you know what? He got right down to it. You got to watch that one.
I like Us better.
Nice transition into our next film, which is Us. Written by Jordan Peele, directed by Jordan Peele, starring Lupita Nyong'o, Winston Duke, Elizabeth Moss, Tim Heidecker, and a bunch of other people I don't know. Sorry to say it. This is Jordan Peele's second film in the horror category that he wrote and directed, and it is his most recent one, coming out March of last year. And this is definitely a much more straight across the board horror film. It's more lines up in the slasher category, and although there is social commentary, it's a little bit harder to find, and since we're not fucking
I don't know if it is.
movie doctors, we're just going to talk about the story that we saw. And
I saw it. I saw the bigger picture. Let's
tell
go.
me about it.
Let's go. We have to talk about Us. We have to talk about Us first.
Okay, do we have any facts?
Oh, shit. Yes, we do. The first one is about Jordan Peele, of course, because that's how the last ones went as well. Jordan Peele is frightened of rabbits.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. If you've seen Us, you know why I just have to throw that out there.
Isn't part of the rabbit imagery, though, just because rabbits have some of the most simple DNA? Am I remembering that right? So they're the easiest to clone?
I
think
mice typically
that's
are the
true.
model specimens for mammals, just because usually model specimens, they need to be cheap and plentiful. So I think the next step up is rabbits. Like generally if you're testing things in a college or something, you don't test on rabbits, it's mice.
Okay.
But I think they use rabbits next, and then it's pigs. And then they go straight to humans.
Good.
No, just kidding, that's not fact. Okay, but like, yes, there was lots of rabbit imagery. Fun facts. I'm trying to find the next one.
Well, this is a movie that is about while you're looking it up, we'll go into the just base story. It's a story about a young girl that when she was little was kind of assaulted at this beach, the Santa Cruz. I believe it's Santa Cruz. You guys can tell me on Twitter if I'm wrong. Fucking interact with us. Passive aggressive comment. However, she gets assaulted, and all we know is that, do we see the clone? We do. And we're not told anything else other than she comes back not talking.
Well, she is in the like funhouse of mirrors, so we don't know if we're seeing her reflection or
Right.
if we're seeing something else. Dun,
Right.
dun, dun.
All right, you found your fun facts, I'm assuming.
No, it's fine. They need to be added throughout, not
Okay.
premised first. This is back in the 80s, though, and then the story, we go to the present day story.
Oh, shit. The rabbits are fucked up.
Yes, that's why I wanted to talk about
'Kay.
this. This story has much. I think the psychology in this is much greater than the psychology. Even though in Get Out they were literally hypnotizing people, which is a tool used in like psychiatric work.
Right.
This one I think had more psychology because the whole thing, which gives away the twist at the end, is like nature and nurture. Like, can you change somebody from nurturing them? Like, the whole debate is soul. If these people have souls? Because they thought they were lacking a soul and they were kept underneath ground. But if she is them and she was just nurtured, that's not really a thing. The whole thing goes to the science of cloning back in the 80s when they started the Hold Hands Across America movement. It was a movement to kind of like unite people. And the government was doing that because they saw like a disarray of the public and they needed another way to control people. Well, they were using that as a way to unite people, but secretly they were working on the US operation underground, cloning people. And then they realized that these clones, the tethered, were different than their actual human counterparts living in real society, and they thought it was due to them not having a soul because you can't clone the idea or the concept of a soul. You can only clone like the physical being.
Well, and that's a common debate in philosophy, is the idea of a soul, and in psychology and in science as a whole. Actually, it's a similar idea of the separation: are we our brains or are we our bodies? And I guess that's probably part of what Jordan Peele's attempt was here to show, is exactly what you're talking about, is a separation of a soul and a body. Like, are we our souls or are we our bodies?
He illustrates this complex idea by giving us a family that's on vacation, and they basically encounter themselves, a family who's wearing, a red outfit and initially won't speak to them.
Well, and let's jump into that a little bit first. Let's jump into the family, because this is something that I think Peele does a really good job of, is developing characters you immediately care about, even though we don't get a lot of time of building a story with them. Adelaide and Gabe are the parents, and the children are Zora and Jason. And we don't know too much about them at all, other than Adelaide is a little girl from the beginning. And now she's married to Gabe, and they have Zora and Jason together, and they're going to go to their beach house for vacation, where they're also going to be meeting up with Kitty and Josh, which is, of course, Tim Heidecker and Elizabeth Moss. And all these characters kind of immediately have their own presence. And, Zora is very kind of rebellious, is the best way to describe it.
She's a bit of she's going to be a teenager. She's withdrawn a bit, but she doesn't seem like as rebellious as Elizabeth Moss's twin girls. Like, she still seems family oriented, at least as she cares for her little brother Jason, keeps an eye on him a little bit.
A little bit.
We
Winston...
know that...
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
We know that fucking Adelaide doesn't want to go to the beach.
Yeah, she has a weird response when Gabe says that they're going to head down to the beach, especially it's Santa Cruz, right?
I don't remember, but they're on vacation. There's a beach by their beach house, but that's more on a bay, and Gabe wants to go to the real actual ocean beach, and Adelaide doesn't fucking want to go, but of course they're on vacation, so they put the kids in the car, they go down to the beach, they meet up with their friends, their rich couple white friends.
Kitty and Josh
and their twin girls.
Douchebag daughters.
Yeah, they seem like assholes, and
They immediately insult fucking Jason because he has a mask on. Like,
he's a weirdo
that was
kid.
literally, he's like 10.
I know.
All 10-year-olds are weirdos.
Yeah.
So either way, Then they go back home, and this is
Wait,
when...
but Jason fucking wanders
Oh, yeah.
off to go to the bathroom. Adelaide has a meltdown because she can't find Jason on a public beach, which,
The
you
same
know,
beach
as
she
a,
got lost on.
as a mother, like,
The
even
same
if
beach
it's
she
not...
got lost on.
Yeah, so that makes it worse. But when you don't see your kid, even if they just went to the bathroom, you, like, freak out.
Right.
And so she's visibly frightened. Same time, Jason just went to the bathroom, and then he kind of wandered out of the porta potties and seen like this weird guy just standing on the beach. And this is important. He's just standing there, and there.
Well, we're doing spoilers.
Hand is
His hands are out, like
Yeah,
he's
I'm
getting ready for hands to hold.
okay. They family reunites, gets back in the car.
They go back home. The kids are heading to bed. The parents are in bed. The son comes and tells them that there's someone standing in their driveway, and it's them. And that's when we get introduced to
It's us.
Yeah, and they're a bunch of fucking creeps.
Yeah.
And so we don't want to get too scene by scene here, which would be easy to do with this film because it's so good. I just want to talk about every scene. Okay, so I like Get Out more, but I think Us is faster paced and maybe a little bit more entertaining. I can watch Get Out more times though. That's the way I'll put it. However, like this family starts terrorizing them. They escape. Blah 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 blah.
Well, and it's weird because like these families have the same, like they're the same person. They're us, but the little boy, the other little boy who's his tether is like a
Pluto.
pyro, Pluto. Zora, her tether, Umbre is like fucking
She's
scary
just a
looking,
psychopath.
and she's like fast. So the parents they initially get them all together in the living room,
And this is when we get an Oscar-worthy performance from Lupita Nyong'o. Nyong'o, yeah, I think I pronounced that correctly. Because her role as Red is so fucking scary. She is genuinely terrifying when
has
she's
the
explaining.
voice, the raspy, I haven't talked because I've been heading underground voice.
And I got fucking choked out when I was a little girl and my windpipe never got to heal correctly voice. Yeah. Yeah. Fucking Adelaide's a bitch.
And then
Technically, if we're gonna go there, Red has every single right to be pissed off.
but we don't know that yet, honey. Stop spoiling our
Are
podcast.
we scene by scene this, or are we talking
We
about
have
the
just
fact that
kept it a
Red's
secret thus-
technically the hero of this movie?
We've kept it
Who
a
gets
secret thus
wronged?
far. Okay.
I hate
what-
Elizabeth
think
Moss's face. That needs to be discussed right away. She's
We
a
are
fantastic actor.
way off base.
No, we're not. We're because right now
I just
where
wanted
we are
to
in the
talk
story.
about.
Are you gonna hit me?
Just shut up. Shut up for a minute. They're all in the living room, and Red literally sicks her children on Adelaide's children. There's like a lot of mom-driven like passion in this movie, and I don't know if you see that because you are a father, not a mother. But she sicks her kids on your kids, and that's fucked up. Like
I'm the
she
dad. I'm the dad out there with a baseball bat.
Run!
It's horrible.
I can't do it.
Little girl.
Run!
That's terrible.
Shut up! You get the point. She tells the little girl to run, and then sicks her little girl after her. The tethered girl is like much faster. She might not be able to fucking talk, but she sure as hell can run.
We don't know that she can't talk. She just doesn't, which makes her creepy.
And so we have the boy chasing the boy, and then fucking
No,
Gabe.
the boy doesn't chase the boy, remember?
They go together in the fucking closet to play with matches because they're
Right,
10-year-old
and,
boys, and we know how conniving 10-year-old boys can be.
Yeah, and Jason traps Pluto in the closet and escapes with Adelaide.
At the same time, Abraham, who's Gabe's tether, has took him out on the boat, this unreliable watercraft that Gabe had purchased earlier, and the family was making fun of him.
This is one of the first scenes where we really get a sign that this is going to be definitely much more of a straight horror than Get Out was. Get Out really had a slow build-up, and then the climax was kind of the violent horror part that you were hoping for. Whereas this movie kind of has the slasher bits throughout it, and Abraham and Gabe's fight is one of the goriest parts of the movie. It was great. Gabe breaks free And eventually, he's about to escape when Abraham grabs him and is going to stab him with the scissors. And Gabe fucking bashes his face on the engine, and which starts it, of course, like you said, it's unreliable. And the engine just tears Abraham apart. It's fucking brutal.
It's gruesome. The tethers are carrying scissors. We watched an interview when we first viewed this movie when it came out, and they had initially said that the scissors weren't a part of it, and they just became a part of it because they were frightening as fuck. And I thought it was interesting because when I first watched the movie, I thought of Hercules and how like the dead people would clip the mortal strings.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Either way, steel scissors, like the whole thing is steel, the handle's steel, you have a handle, like that's scary.
Yeah. And they're
like the metal sewing scissors that like
they're
grandma
scary.
Has. Like, anyway.
So Abraham's taken out at this point, and Adelaide and Gabe and Zora and Jason
they take off on the boat and go to fucking Kitty and Josh's house. At the same time, Kitty and Josh
are getting fucked up by their tethers.
Their tethers didn't fuck around. So, like,
no.
I don't know if Adelaide and Gabe, they're just badass or whatnot, but it's kind of like Adelaide and Red had this connection, and that's kind of why they fucked around.
Red did the typical
speech.
The bad guy thing and gave him time.
Like, I'm the villain, I have to talk, and here we have a storyline.
Whereas Kitty and Josh's and their kids' tether just like showed up,
slit throats,
moved on.
Yep, there we are.
Done.
But they weren't done because Adelaide and Gabe and the kids got there and basically killed their tethers. Killed their tethers easier than they killed their own tethers. But like we know before, everybody has their own physical qualities because we've seen Kitty and Josh, they're twin girls, their tethers were like walking on their hands and shit. Slightly more, I don't know, honey, tethers, whatever. They're supposed to be like your mirror image, except they don't have a soul.
Right, or that's what we're supposed to believe.
They hang out at their house for a minute, and then they see on the news that this is like a global thing. Like, globally, these tethers are coming out of the sewers and killing people, and then showing up to random areas of the world and just holding hands with each other. And let's talk about this. Adelaide and Gabe would have grown up in the 80s, because we've seen that from Adelaide's little Back in Time.
Right. I should have known about Hands Across America.
They should have known. They should have known.
Yes.
She had a shirt about it that we've seen numerous times in the movie. Anyway, they don't know what's happening. All they know is Adelaide is a fucking badass, and she knows that Jason's tether and Zora's tether are still out there. She's a mama. She needs to go fucking, I don't know if she just needs to kill these tethers or what. Because she's on one. Like, Gabe wanted to hide out and be like, they have a generator, we can just hide out here, like the world's in chaos, and Adelaide's like, that's what Kitty and Josh thought, and look, they're dead. And it's kind of funny because we see that the family's been hardened because they're just sitting around all these bodies having this discussion about what they should do next. But they ultimately decide to get back in the car, and they go to where...
Well, you're skipping over one of my favorite conversations in the entire movie where they all discuss the kill count, because they're the daughter Zora is saying that she should drive because she has the highest kill count. Like that has literally nothing to do with anything. It's just one of my favorite conversations.
It kind of had to do with how the family's hardened, though, because that's not really a normal family discussion. This little girl,
it'd be our family's conversation, though.
This like preteen is driving because of course Gabe got his knee smashed in with the bat. And
stop.
I
Don't
know.
touch.
I was trying
Don't
to
touch.
I was trying to
Adelaide got hurt too. Yeah, anyways. Then the Zora's tethered, jumps in the car, they kill her, blah blah blah. Move forward, Burn Kid attacks them and sets up a trap, and the little boy fucking figures out how to kill Pluto just by controlling him, because the tether do what their other side do in mirror. But that's when he gets kidnapped by Red, and this leads us to Adelaide going down into the tunnels to finally face off with Red. And this is when we find out that Adelaide had actually been the tethered originally, and Red had been the little girl we were introduced to.
Well, we don't really find that out yet, though. Like, we just see it from Red's point of view. We see where she lived. We see where these animals, like all these rabbits, like symbolize their experiments. Basically, they're experimenting on humans. So we see the humans have, or the tethered are above ground. So the plentiful rabbits jumping around, we see how many humans were experimented on. And you kind of empathize with Red a little bit here, but we don't know about the twist until like the way end of the movie, because Adelaide kills Red eventually. They have their little ballet dance.
Right, that's
because, Red explained that the Tether knew she was different because she was able to do this ballet dance when she was a child.
Yes.
And so Adelaide is a badass though and fucking kills Red and meets back up with their family, and they're driving away, and
that's when we get the cutscene back to
Adelaide is driving the car, and the passenger is her son Jason, and Jason's kind of looking at her weird, and then she gets the scene that you're talking about where she realizes, or maybe not realizes the word, but she recalls that way back when she was found that she was the tether girl. I think saying recalled is the wrong way of saying it, though. I think it's us just finally getting clued in. I think she's known this whole time. Well, yeah, that's what I meant. That's why I didn't say realize. Recalled. You're recalling information. It doesn't matter, but I think the bigger thing is Jason can tell, because sometimes little kids have weird sixth senses, and so he's looking at his mom, and he puts the mask back on because he's like, fuck my mom, she's fucking tether. She's sus as fuck. The end. This movie was way better. I give it a fucking 90.
Okay, I give it an 85. IMDb gave it a 6.9. The audience gave it a 59% on Rotten Tomatoes, whereas the critics gave it a 93%. I think the audience is dumb as fuck in that scenario, because it's not as intellectual as Get Out, but when you really sit down and watch it, it does have a lot of substance. Whereas D.H. Roos says, no substance, no soul. Crap movie, you'll feel cheated in the end. There's nothing in this movie. No suspense, no thrill, no horror. 1 out of 10. And then Michael Olson, 77, says, how can I get 7.4 rating? The worst movie I've seen this year, not once. It was scary but funny instead. Save your money and see something else. 1 out of 10. Now let's jump into this smarter category where Balder Ramen Noel says, amazing. This movie is great. It is very thrilling. It makes you think. In this movie, you must pay attention from the start. Amazing movie, 10 out of 10. And Z Charunga says, this movie is very different from Get Out. People expected this movie to be similar to the previous one, and it's not. It's so much better for so many reasons. The ending is so brilliant. I can't stop replaying the scenes with clues in my head that I missed during the movie. It's so well written that you have to watch it more than once to get the whole picture.
I wonder if that's a term these kids use nowadays.
I would agree with this movie benefits from more than one viewing. It was better. It was better. And you keep saying that it doesn't have as much substance or wasn't as like psychological. I think Get Out was a psychological thriller. That wasn't a horror movie. This is a horror movie. This was like scary. Get Out's a horror movie because of that genuine concept of what they're doing.
Get Out is a horror movie the same way that Black Mirror is a horror series.
Yes. And that was our discussion on Get Out and us. If you want to check us out, we are on Instagram at _long_story_short_podcast, or on Twitter at @TheLongStorySH1, and also now on YouTube with The Long Story Short Podcast, all one word. If you want to see our faces, thanks for tuning in. Please reach out to us on Instagram or Twitter. We'd love hearing from you all. Next week, we have the last week of Horror Month before we jump into whatever the fuck we want to do next. Thanks for checking out our bullshit, and have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.